Hello, this is Bart with Conwed Plastics, and thank you for joining our mini webinar on how to choose the best packaging mesh color. In this webinar, we'll cover scientific research on color perception, the impact of mesh color on customer buying decisions, and how to optimize your mesh color to improve the customer's willingness to buy. So let's get started. To explain the scientific research on color perception, let's start with an experiment. Take a look at the two squares shown here, the brownish one on the left and the reddish one on the right. The trick is, when you see these together, you realize that they are exactly the same color. These squares only appear to be different colors because, in reference to their background, our mind perceives colors as a function of other colors around them. If you take these four identical pictures of red onions and then overlay each with a different color of mesh of very different picture forms, now which of these would you choose? If you said the onions behind the purple or reddish net, you're not alone. In fact, in a recent university study, it was determined that produce packed in mesh with a color most closely resembling its own, in this case purple, or its analogous colors, red or blue, the colors on either side of it on the color wheel, had the best customer response in both terms of perceived freshness and likelihood to buy. Speaking specifically, 85% of the people in the study indicated that they were either very likely or likely to buy produce that was packed in its same color, with very similar results for the analogous colors. Conversely, if you go across the color wheel to the opposite color from its natural color, in this case yellow, only 18% of people rated themselves as highly likely to buy. To carry forward the example, if we had a yellow onion packed in its most closely resembled mesh color, you would get the best customer response with similar results from yellow or red, and in this case, green, blue, and purple, the opposite colors on the color spectrum, providing the worst customer response. You can see here we have four identical pictures of yellow onions, and again, when overlaid with different colors of mesh, you can see that the red and the orangish mesh bring out the warm, natural tones of the onions, and the purple and the blue, which are on the opposite side of the color spectrum, are giving a kind of a grayed out and unnatural look to the onions. The next question is, what if you're packing something that doesn't really have a color you want to bring out, like a white onion? While you might think packing it in its own color, like a white mesh, would help, you can see when we overlay it with white, it does very little to improve the visual appeal of the produce. While we think of a white onion as being white, in reality they have some orange, brown, and yellow tones present, but these are certainly not colors that we would want to emphasize. In this case, rather than highlighting colors that you do want, an alternate strategy is to cancel colors that you don't want. So to mute the effect of the yellow, brown, and orange tones, you could pack it in the opposite colors to compensate, in this case, blue or purple. As we look back at our picture and overlay it with different colors of mesh, you can see that the blue and purple mesh do a really good job of reducing the yellowish look of the onions and making them look a more vibrant white. This same concept of de-emphasizing undesirable tones can be applied back to our original produce. If you remember, our yellow onion would pack best in an orange or yellow or red. Let's say these same onions also have a hint of green, something that you would not want. To compensate for this, shift around on the color wheel to the red, still a color that will bring out the colors that we want, but more effectively muting the colors that we don't. Lastly, let's say that we're attempting to pack multiple colors of product together. We could easily pack the yellow and red onions in a complementary red mesh, or the white and red onions in a complementary blue. With white and yellow, however, because they're on opposite sides of the color wheel, there is no single color of mesh that would have a beneficial effect for both. In this scenario, our mesh selection becomes one of contrast. As another quick demonstration, take a look at these two gray bars, each shading from dark to light in opposite directions. The reality, however, is that the central bar is one solid color. We're only perceiving it as being shaded because of our reference point to the square in the background. As we look at 4 identical pictures of different colors of onions and overlay them with white and black mesh, you can see that the white mesh has more of a muting effect, which can be good while losing some definition in the process. The black mesh, on the other hand, will not only show a stronger contrast of the different colors, but also the different variegations in color within each of the pieces of produce themselves. So in summary, match your mesh to the produce color you want to enhance, use opposite mesh colors to reduce any undesirable colors, and use black to improve definition or white to brighten or reduce contrast. So we hope this helped. To learn more about mesh, or more specifically how you can optimize the colors for the products that you're packaging, please reach out to us using our website at conwedplastics.com. And thanks for watching.